I just want to start tonight's show by reading something out straight out the box here right now from a journalist and a reporter that's come out today on what the show is all about and what I wanted to start with, which reads, Erik ten Hag's willingness to accept Jason Wilcox's tactical suggestion that he used Bruno Fernandes as a false nine in the FA Cup final was key factor to the Dutchman being retained as Manchester United manager. False. I'm sorry. Erik ten Hag can at least set up a team and put that out on the pitch. He does not need Jason Wilcox for that. But you know what? Man, it's not all about my opinion. A lot of people have moaned about my opinion today. I've got a very strong one about the situation and what happened, obviously. But I want to move past that and talk about what's happened after that. Because all of the information that's come out in detail about how Manchester United move forward now with Ten Hag and Ineos is really interesting. Like we said before, the focus is off Ten Hag. It's on Ineos now. So this report regarding Wilcox telling Ten Hag to do, is this a worry for you? Do you think this is a positive because Ten Hag is willing to accept a little bit of help from the football structure? Sir Jim Ratcliffe all too happy about this and shows that Ten Hag is willing to work with the structure according to the Guardian and the report. I don't see it. Honestly, I cannot see Ten Hag working like that. I don't think he'll take instruction, but hey, look, listen, we're going to get into the show. We're going to have a good old debate tonight about what's going on. There's loads of stuff. 35 million to spend this summer. Good luck, Eric. Ineos are going to need to do a little bit more than that, I'm afraid. Talking about who's leaving, priority targets again. There's so much going on right now and the news that's come out. The two-year new deal, we're going to get into details on that and what Ten Hag is going to be getting, the structure of it and everything. Like I said, there's an absolute ton of reports coming out that we want to read through tonight and get into detail about. I want to get your opinions. It was a quick-fire show. The chat was mental and divided before we Saeed on the show. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I know some people don't agree with certain opinions. It's not a reason to abuse people, I'll say that. So let's keep calm in the chat tonight, people, as well. Let's be fair and honest and just respect other people's opinion. We're not going to all agree, and that's what it's all about. So please get involved in the chat, being nice as you can be. Well, not agreeing, that is totally fine. Don't worry about that. We can all have our own opinions and not agree with others, but please be respectful to people in the chat and whoever's on as guests as well, including myself. Like, you can abuse me all you want. Like, I don't really care. I just deal with facts and what's actually out there, and we have a good old chat about it normally. But some people lost their way a little bit earlier on. So let's get back to talking real football and what really is important right now with United, which is Ineos. Not Ten Hag, it is Ineos. Where are you guys at with that I've just read out? Honestly, just tell me where you're at with it. I'm a bit confused and a bit concerned. I can't see this. I did talk briefly about this last night. Why Ten Hag is staying is because he took instruction off Jason Wilcox, and that's why he won the FA Cup final. That proved to Sir Jim Ratcliffe that he is willing to work with the structure, and that is a major part in why Manchester United are keeping Erik ten Hag. Maybe it was the fact that you was talking to Marco Silva, Ineos, as a possible replacement. Wow, the list of managers that they did speak to has actually come out in public right now. So let's talk about best in class, shall we, Sir Jim? Let's get into detail on that side of things. Excuse me. Because that was concerning as well. But I can clearly see everybody's slant on this now, wanting to move forward. That's where we're going to go with it. That's what we need to do with it, because the important thing, obviously, now is the pre-season and what comes of it. So let's get involved. Please give the video a like, guys. Get involved. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button as well if you are tuning in for the first time. We do deal in facts. Some people struggle with them, but let's be honest, it's better getting it all out rather than just sitting on it and letting it simmer and build up into a big outburst, which some people tend to do. Hello to everyone in the chat, mods, members and subscribers. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. Let's get into everything. Like, get your comments in on that one straight away. Honestly, I don't agree in it at all, one bit. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair to bring it out. I think too much is coming out now with what's gone on. Look, the decision's been made, but for some reason the media now have felt like they needed to out absolutely everything that's happened in this whole process and this review, to a point where the Athletic, and this is the Athletic, the tried and trusted media outlet, are actually listing every single manager that Manchester United talked to a point where we were talking to Marco Silva from Fulham 2 days before the cup final. I mean, oh my God, like, there are better managers, I'm sorry. I like Marco Silva, I think he's done well coming back, but come on, seriously. Also, a lot from the Telegraph today, which I want to get into. Ten Hag is expected to sign a 2-year contract extension at Manchester United, meaning he will have 3 years left to run. Now, there's loads involved in what that contract is, his role. There is word and there is rumours going around that Ten Hag is not willing to let go of his actual power at Manchester United in terms of what he actually has in vetoes, in transfers and things like that. Erik Ten Hag is reluctant to cede power to Ineos when it comes to transfers. Ineos want to give more power to the recruitment team when it comes to signings, but it is written in Ten Hag's present contract that he has a veto on potential purchases of players. Ten Hag's present contract will stipulate that has to stay. Now, what we're talking about here is Ten Hag's veto. We've all talked about this, his power, what he wants to do with transfers, what players he wants to bring in. He has to have a say on it. So that is the current state of affairs. Now, he wants to keep that. Obviously, he wants to feel like he has got some power. This is where the contrasting reports are. Like, if he's not willing to relinquish transfer power, but willing to take tactical advice from Wilcox, they don't mix, they don't collaborate, they don't go together, basically. So I think it's contrasting views from the media, and everything is just getting thrown up in the air right now, and everybody's trying to make sense of every single story that's floating around. It is really confusing, and I don't believe much of it at all. I'm going to be honest. I just feel like the media are jumping at every possible story, everything out there that they can get their hands on, and putting it out as a story. That's how it feels right now. And it feels like it's half made up, if not all made up, to be honest. Like, I cannot see that. I'm going to get into the comment section now, straight away, get your opinions on this. The tactics changed in the Arsenal game and all the games after that, not long after Wilcox came, and there were reports he had demanded a change. You cannot work with that as a manager then. You cannot be judged off a so-called sporting director or technical director is what his official title is in Jason Wilcox. If you're taking instruction from a technical director on how to set up your team, the team that you put together, then surely that was a red flag for Ineos straight away. There are reports that a lot of the hierarchy at Manchester United were considering sacking Ten Hag after the Crystal Palace game. Just another story that came out. Again, like, the media are spinning absolutely everything they possibly can right now to get anything to stick. I can see it happening. Like, there were panic buttons being pressed at that Crystal Palace game. I think everybody was thinking it was the end for Ten Hag after a show like that. That was absolutely horrific, as we all know. But again, I just look at it and go, why are you bringing it up now? Like, honestly, it's like they're trying to make sure they're protecting themselves by saying, look, we weren't fear-mongering at the time, we weren't scaremongering at the time for Ten Hag, we were backing Ten Hag in the media, we weren't overstepping the line, so we're just going to announce this at the end of the season, just so people actually look at it and go, whoa, was that actually really happening back then at the Crystal Palace stage? It's funny, isn't it? When announcements made, all of the shit comes out, doesn't it, out of the closet. It really does. Now it's time to say goodbye to all the toxic players. I'm going to get through some more. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is well. We are good. The media will go all out on Erik Ten Hag now. He'll be under the microscope from now on. I mean, I look at it and go, I don't think they will. Honestly, I think they're getting everything they can get out now because Ineos have backed Ten Hag, and we move forward. It's done, it's put to bed, like we discussed this morning. Now we go forward. Like, they're trying to get everything possibly out that they can now, just to make sure that everything was covered, it would seem. We know what the media like, and we know everything that comes out. And right now, I feel like it's going to switch from Ten Hag to Ineos, and the pressure is going to be on them. Like, what do you do next? You have just backed Erik Ten Hag, and there's talk of him getting a new deal. We knew that last night, that discussions for Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein were both reporting that discussions are already underway for Ten Hag and a new deal. So you look at that and you go, well, I can see it. I said it all along. If you're going to back him, then you need to fully back him, and that is a new contract. Whether it will be restructured or not, there are lots of reports going around about what Ten Hag's power will be going forward with that new deal. But I expected it. I did. Like I said, no manager works off a 1 year basis with 1 year left. And now they've backed him. I'm not surprised at the talks of a 2 year extension. I think it's just normal protocol for managers, and that's just the way the manager world works. So no real surprise there at all. They've backed him, and of course they've had to give him a new contract. So that's fine. It's what his new contract involves. Is it a head coach role right now for Ten Hag? And it's just everything that's on the pitch that's being scrutinised. He's not going to be judged on anything off the pitch. I would personally take all... If I was Ten Hag, I would be happy for Ineos to take complete control of the transfer window. Look, Ten Hag now in his first press conference can just come out and completely protect himself. It's not his fault that Manchester United only have this amount of money to spend. Forget even bringing Ten Hag into the equation on this right now. It's on Ineos. And that's, like I said before, is the full focus now for everybody. We need to see what they want to do. And the reports coming out about Manchester United's actual spend and what we can actually go in this transfer window with is ludicrous. I'm going to come on to that next and get your thoughts on it. Just quickly through more of the media stuff from the chats. Media are pissed off that they have been left out in the cold without any info, and so are going for the jugular now in their reporting. I like to see it. Means that we are not airing our laundry anymore. You definitely got that right, that they are miffed off. That all stems from the Omar Barada news sneaking out with no one getting wind of it. I think they've been on everything Ineos-wise since that point, Louise. Didn't Erik ten Hag work under a structure at Ajax? I think he'll be fine. Could be fine. But what we're saying is he hasn't got the same power in the contracts that he had at Manchester United. Ajax. He's got into this 2 years at Manchester United, and the interview we had before he came to the club was that he needs to be in control of the transfers. That's his number one priority. That's why he moved to Manchester United. So he has to relinquish that and now give power back to Ineos, because they're not going to go for that. Their structure doesn't work in line with that. So it's going to be interesting to see. He did work with the Overmars and Edwin van der Sar structure, and it was a perfectly run structure at Ajax. We all know that. And Ten Hag was fine with that. But the pressure wasn't as big there at Ajax about buying players. They never overpaid for players, so it was never scrutinised on that side of it either. The expectations of that league are less than the Premier League. And now you've got Ineos in there putting pressure on him to get results with what looks like an absolute shite budget for Manchester United going in this summer now. Evening to all. I don't always agree to your opinion, but that's what it's all about. Everyone different. Always been Erik ten Hag in and wanted him to get a chance with the right structure, but that's me. Now, Ian, on that one, moving forward, 35 million. Is that a good structure for Erik ten Hag to work under? God, like everyone's been building it up to like saying Ten Hag should stay. We need to see what he can work with under a new structure. We get the announcement, we move forward, everyone puts it to bed, and then we get some absolute garbage news today that Manchester United can only spend 35 million. What a load of shit. That has to be the biggest bollocks headline I've ever heard. There's not a chance in hell that Manchester United's budget, with everybody that's leaving on the wage bill and the way that financial fair play is structured, like we've discussed many a times, is 35 million. I think this news is simpler Ineos putting out the feelers, making sure that people know that United haven't got a lot to spend, and you will not be taking Manchester United to the cleaners for prices for players. We're not going to be paying over the top for players. Adam, why do you think we saw such a change after the Palace game? Because they play differently. Changed. Sorry, do you mean we played differently after that, Jonathan? I just didn't understand that last bit there, mate. Get the Rats out. He worse than the Glazers. The Rats made a big joke out of the manager thing, says Christopher. But he's in now, and we have to deal with it, Christopher. Ten Hag has to work under Sir Jim Radcliffe and what he's brought in. it doesn't look good so far. Like, everything else that they've done has been right. They've put the right people in place. But like you can see at the bottom, like there's so much news that has come out since the announcement now. All the details of everything, which we're getting through right now. Eric Ten Hag probably wanted the power when he signed. As we know, he had no competent football people above him. Did he know straight away when he joined, Dan, that we had the ineptitude that we've got in the likes of Murto, in Arnold? God. The issues that have been caused by that old hierarchy are coming back to fruit right now, aren't they? They really are. Second, Eric Ten Hag always seemed beyond stupid. If Alonso ain't available, why bother with retreads? Get the best up and come on, or don't bother changing. All hail Green Sheet Army. Hello, Modern Samurai. Good to have you in the chat. Just as I say that, he drops 5 memberships in there. Thank you, mate. They have gone to Richie Club Sport, John Ralph, Ian Jackson, and Joe McMillan and the United Wings. Welcome to the Members Club, guys. Make sure you give Modern Samurai a big thank you. Please give the video a like, guys. We're almost at the 100 mark already. Keep them likes coming in as well, everybody. Let them get involved in the chat as well. 35 million to spend. What a load of codswallop, Adam. Yeah, Henry. That's how I see it as well, mate. We cannot seriously be talking them numbers. Okay, I'm going to go right through the headlines as it happened from this morning, basically. Eric Ten Hag. Sorry. I'm just going to read this one out again. Sorry, from Eric Ten Hag. This was the first one I was just talking about there. This is all come from the Times again. Eric Ten Hag is reluctant to cede power to Ineos when it comes to transfers. Ineos wants to give more power to the recruitment team when it comes to signings, but it is written in Ten Hag's present contract that he has veto on all potential purchases. So, in terms of discussions in Eric Ten Hag's contract, that's what they will be discussing to get out, basically. Eric Ten Hag and his advisors are expected to take a bullish approach to contract negotiations with Ineos. Ten Hag will not blindly accept what is put in front of him and wants to feel empowered and not be a lame duck manager. So he wants signings to be made that improve the squad, and he wants them to be through the door before United begin their pre-season tour of the United States on July 24th. Good luck with that one, Eric. I don't think Ineos have got that in them, mate. I'm not even laughing just in pure joke form there. It is hilarious that we are going to get what we need before July 24th. Like, the Euros finish like a week before that, near enough. There's not a chance in hell that United will have everything they need to have done before we go out on tour. This is something that we've been crying out for every season, and that never happens. Oh my God. Sources have dismissed theories that Manchester United have simply delayed Eric Ten Hag's departure while they wait for a preferred successor, such as Gareth Southgate, to become available. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Southgate is gone. That is it. Most of the Manchester United players are said to be pleased the uncertainty over the managerial situation has now been ended and that the club can now move on with their summer plans. Okay, guys, let's have a laugh, shall we? July 24th, that's when we're expecting to get all transfer activity done and finished. Come on. Like, it's serious. Is that the biggest joke out there? There's not a chance in hell that Ineos are going to get all our transfer business done before July 24th. Come on, people. Get a grip. Jason Chats Football donated another membership taken by Bazar. Barry Partington, welcome to the Members Club, mate. I thought Arnold in the infamous pub interview last summer said that transfer budget that summer was okay, but no money in 2024 window. No, he said we could spend 200 million in that interview, Jonathan. He said we could spend that, but he didn't say how we could spend that. And basically that was the year that the revolving credit facility came in, the company credit card, and that's where Manchester United went and spent their money. Absolute clowns. And that is a debt that we are now paying off big time because it's affecting the turnover, it's affecting the finances. Carol in with the super chat. Thank you, Carol. United should shut the London office and that money could be put to better use. I like your thinking, Carol. I do. Why is Eric Ten Hag staying and no new talent coming in? Well, this probably we said at the top of the show, like the media, and I've talked about the revelation about Ten Hag. I'm not having a go at Ten Hag in this because I don't believe it. Like, I just believe the media are spinning absolute shite right now. Honestly, like, it is. Since the lunchtime show, the amount of crap and absolute flurry of news and stories that have come out from every single corner of the British media and world media it's been ridiculous. It's been most news we've had in one day ever. And last night we got the announcement. That should have been the big day. But today, in all the details that have come out, oh my God. Here's another good one for you. Listen to this one. We're going through all of them today. Shocks Manchester United players for Erik Ten Hag would be sacked before finding out the Dutchman is staying at the club. United players only found out the club had decided to keep Ten Hag when news broke publicly late on Tuesday night. Do you know what? I've got my opinions on Ten Hag and everyone knows it and everything like that, but I would have loved to have been there for them players that thought that they were just going to go back to type and think that everything was going to be the same under Ineos. And their faces. Honestly, like Jadon Sancho sat there right now. Marcus Rashford sat there right now going, Jesus, right, okay, I really am going to have to do something this summer because we're not. Like, we just finished our worst Premier League season ever where I was an absolute disgrace to the football club, Marcus Rashford that being. And I've still not got him out. Good God, I better pull my finger out here and start doing something then, Hannah. Jesus. Wowza. Right, into other news, more interesting stuff that is more relevant to what's happening. Erik Ten Hag is expected to ask Manchester United to sell Jadon Sancho. Yes, 100% everybody is on board with that one. I cannot disagree with that. And I think it's the most sensible bit of news out of everything that's come out this afternoon. Modern Samurai in the chat with a super chat. Cheers, mate. I wouldn't give Erik Ten Hag a single signing and let him work with the youth and remaining players on contract. Let's see how good you are coaching then. That's exactly it, Modern Samurai. I don't think... Do you know what? Before this news all broke about the so-called budget that we've got to spend, I was on with Saeed earlier on, and I said to Saeed, look, do you feel like Ineos are just going to tell Ten Hag, look, you have said that you would get Manchester United competing at the top if everybody was fit. Is there a chance that Ineos just say, look, we're going to save what we can this summer and see if Ten Hag can prove to us this season that he can get this squad when looked after properly and his full concentration is just on the squad and the players on the training ground. Let's see if he can get us up there. And if he does, then maybe we'll spend more money next season. We honestly do not know how Ineos are going to approach this. This could be completely different. We might not spend a lot this summer. And it might be a case of Ten Hag pulling a rabbit out of the hat and proving to everybody that he has got serious coaching credentials and he can get a style of football out of this Manchester United squad. Because he has backed him. He has bemoaned the injuries all season. And when everyone's fit, we got results like Manchester City. We beat Liverpool. We literally took, what was it? 2 points off Liverpool, unbeaten against them in the league, and we beat Manchester City in the final. I know it's not much to cling on to, but I am clinging on to whatever I possibly can right now. But honestly, I look at it and I go, maybe Ineos will go down this road where they say to Ten Hag, prove to us that you deserve more money being spent. He's called out needing strength in depth, Ten Hag, which is right. We need it. I think Ineos are still looking at it and going, well, you've got strength in depth. If we sort out the structure, the fitness staff, the medical team, and you have got Luke Shaw, Tyrell Malacia at left back, you've got Johnny Evans signing a new contract, you've got Camberwala signing a new deal, 2 defenders in, 2 unfit defenders from last season coming back in. They're strengthening the defence already. We might buy you a cut price to Debo maybe. But what is being said is that Manchester United have to sell players to bring in other players. Ten Hag is not going to get given Ineos money. And that's the end of it. it would seem. Going into the stories around this, I'm going to get up to that now. Ten Hag also, with the news yesterday about Benny McCarthy, this came out. Ten Hag also wants a new contract for Benny McCarthy. He said he's thrown his weight around now that he's being kept. So Dave Brailsford was the one who was most keen to keep Erik Ten Hag. It's been reported. This is the one. Here we go. In one story, you've got Manchester United only have a gross budget of 35 million to spend this summer. The club hope it will be boosted by player sales. Next story, Michael Olise, Gerard Branthwaite and Ivan Toney are primary targets for Manchester United this summer. Oh, come on. Nobody knows what's happening. Let's be honest. You haven't got a clue what Man United have got to spend. They're just absolutely... They're feeding you absolute bull, and you're having to work with it. Good God. Like, honestly. We'll be lucky to get 2 signings, says Modern Samurai. Everyone that we get this summer will be on a free. We are scraping the barrel, it would seem. And not spending beyond our means. Like, Ineos are in with the cuts, aren't they? Ineos are in. Chop, chop, chop. We're going to make this club run streamline and get the finances right in place. And that is going to be hit in the new players coming in. This is going to be hit. And like Ten Hag and that story coming out about him and his people going in all bullish and demanding what they want. Like, honestly, I wouldn't mess with it, Eric. I would just sort of like go in, accept what Ineos want, maybe put in the odd stipulation yourself, maybe change it around a bit, because they're not for messing around, are they? They're not going to be taken out here. They're not going to be ripped off by anyone. And the way I look at it, it's like they set the precedent with Dan Ashworth. And by the way, there's another story come out that said, another one, that Dan Ashworth and Ineos and the situation where we are with the arbitration right now and getting him through, they are not budging on 3 million. They are sticking to their guns. Like, honestly, guys, we are in for a bit of a rude awakening with Ineos. Do not expect absolute Brewsters to be spent this summer. We can spend it. We've said it. It's very clear with financial fair play, PSR, how it's set up, the actual figures that came out of the football club and what we've saved. We can spend money this summer. I just don't think Ineos are going to choose to spend it. And now the media are like, well, we better just put a story out which says 35 million. That's what we've got to spend just to cover ourselves, to make sure that when it does come to it and United don't spend a lot of money, they can come out and say, like they are doing now, well, we did say this was going to happen and no one listened to us. That's what you get. Mr. Dacia Sandero, hi Adam. No manager should be kept in the dark with regards to recruiting players. He has to have some say. It's like somebody tipping out a load of nuts and bolts on the floor. Right, Bill me and Tank. Sorry. Know what will happen? Ten Hag will have a say. Ineos have got a style of play. Like, if you're going to listen to that bullshit story, which I think it is, about Jason Wilcox telling Ten Hag what to do, then this is how it's going to go. They will ask Erik Ten Hag, under their new style of play that they want to determine, which Sir Jim Ratcliffe has said he is going to do, like that meeting will happen, and Ten Hag has to play this way, and they're going to do that, and then they're going to ask Ten Hag what position you want strengthening. Then they're going to get their recruitment team out, get probably 3 players together, and Ten Hag has to choose which one of them 3 players in that group that Ineos have recruited he would prefer. And then Ineos will go and get that player and bring him in for Ten Hag. That's the say that Ten Hag will have. They want to know that. If you go in with that Wilcox story about him telling Ten Hag what to do, then that's how it's going to be. I think there's an element of that is how it's going to be. But still, I can't believe all of that. I really can't. For the love of God, no new contract for Ten Hag until at least after this season. Slap an achievement or performance-based termination clause. What clauses would you put in this contract, guys? Get in the comment section, let me know. Let's be creative with this contract. Give me a clause on Ten Hag's side and give me a clause on Sir Jim Ratcliffe's and Ineos' side and what they would put in. I want 2. Get creative with it and get in the chat. So we have a couple of super chats to get through from Anthony ONG. Says, good that Erik ten Hag is given a chance. The first manager post-Alex Ferguson to get through third season. Hopeful there. The new medical team and players. Then we judge him again. What happens? Do we not judge Ten Hag if he doesn't get loads of new signings this summer? Is he going to get away with it if it doesn't happen? Or are Ineos going to just say, look, we give you a chance this year, failed, and away you go in the summer? Is that fair? I may be wrong, but the play is for Ineos to buy a bigger piece of the club, so buy Man U stock and wait for Steve Radcliffe to pay you double for your shares. I think that is the play. There are more shares going to Ineos. We already know that. They're basically saving everything they possibly can. That's why they are selling Nice. Apparently that's not happening. And there will be an announcement on the Nice thing as well, in public, apparently. So we got to wait for that one. That's another report that's come out. He's just going to make more excuses, says Modern Samurai. Erik ten Hag's clause would be no signing of players over the age of 28 years of age. Sacked with no compo once when it's obvious no top four, says Tony. Top four are sacked, top four and last 8 of Europa League. Okay, from GMAC. I'm loving these clauses that you're bringing up, guys, in the chat. We will win a trophy this season with this manager, maybe the league. Mark, the league? No, come on, seriously. Even Ten Hag knows he can't win the league. I'm actually saying that. He said we would be competing if everybody is fit. So it doesn't look like we're going to be integrating in many new players this season. So at least he knows everything about the squad that he's got and everybody who's in the team right now. That's a bonus. In 2024, United are not 2028 United. We need to be more realistic. The club is in a rebuild. Sorry, I lost that there. Where's that gone? Club is in a rebuild. Top 6 and quarterfinals Europa League. Not good enough, Jack. Sorry. Ineos won't accept that either. We need to be challenging for the top 4. Ten Hag has told us that this team is good enough to compete for the top 4, so he needs to show us that he can get it top 4. I don't think Ineos are going to let him up. It has to be top 4. My understanding of how a director of football works is he has a list of players for defence, midfield, attack, and you have a budget. Then Erik ten Hag says who on the list is the must-have, and they have to work out what would be left. Yes, Mark, that is exactly what I just described then. What position do we need? These are your players. Who do you want from these players? Because we believe, with all of the structure that we've got, that these are the best players to play the style of football that we want to play. And that's how the structure will work under Ineos. And that's how it will go forward. Ineos will want top 4 next season to get the Champions League cash. They will. That's what I've been saying. There are now 5 managers worth of signings, including Erik ten Hag's. Ineos have to get a move on with the clear-out if they want their players in and playing their way, or hang Erik ten Hag out to dry with not. This is the thing, like, you know what I said yesterday, like, the focus goes from Ten Hag to Ineos now. I feel like Ten Hag could get away with Ineos's lack of action in the transfer window, you know what I mean? Like, if they don't back him, then everyone is going to say, well, he wasn't backed by Ineos. Everyone will turn on Ineos, and Ten Hag will go under the radar again, won't he? Well, not so much under the radar, but obviously there will be the outcry again from members of the media, the fans. But what is backing Ten Hag? That's another question I want to ask you guys. Are you worried about that rumour about so much that we've got to spend this summer? What is actually backing Ten Hag? What does that consist of for you? Get in the chat and let me know. All the teams above us are better now, and all will strengthen this window. Still, people think we will finish in the top 4. Gary, we have to be competing for the top 4. Ten Hag has said we will be competing when everyone's fit. It has to happen. Like, Ineos, look, sell Casemiro, sell Sancho, sell Mason Greenwood. There is easily over 200 million to spend there. I'm not having this 35 million. I think there's more than that. And United have got room with financial fair play. They have. That's why we're not going to buy anyone until July the 1st. I think United will end up selling the players we need to. Ten Hag needs to be backed in the sense that players that he doesn't want will be moved on. Now, he didn't trigger the contracts of Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Victor Lindelof. He doesn't want Palestre. He doesn't want Hannibal. Sancho. Greenwood is going to go anyway. Casemiro. All of them players, if you're telling me we can't get over 200 million together for them players, then Ineos are shit and we're down the Swanee, aren't we? We really are. We will get money in from players and we will spend more on them players. I just feel like if Ineos do the dealings and get the right amount of money, they're not going to waste that money then on someone who Ten Hag definitely wants. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we're going to be seeing Ten Hag want a certain player. And this is, I said it before, I think Todibo is the key one to show where the power is actually at. Keep liking the video, guys. We're almost over the 150 mark. Thank you. Let's see if we can squeeze that up near 200, please, everyone. I think if we signed Todibo, that was Ten Hag's man last season. If Maguire went, if we go and sign another centre-back, then it will show that Ineos have not paid any attention to what Ten Hag wanted. I think Todibo pretty much nailed on, personally. There are others that I would have, but I feel like Todibo, if I'm being honest and realistic, I feel like he's the one that we are going to end up getting at centre-back. And that is... it's not a bad thing. I think Todibo, like I said, I've not watched loads of him. I've only seen reports, write-ups, the odd game here and there and snippet. He's not in the French squad because the squad is awesome. So that's a deal at least we can make while the Euros is on. I'm not waiting around. But I don't know of anyone realistically in for Todibo at the moment. So is this an easy signing for United to just go and get him? We already touted him up and made sure that he wanted to come to United last summer. He told us what he wanted. He wasn't willing to come in and fight for his place with all of the other centre-backs. He wanted guarantees. He wanted to know what the project was. I think it's quite clear now, with Ineos getting rid of half of the defence and bringing someone else in, that you can see that he is going to be a big part of Manchester United going forward if he comes in. So I think it's just simple. I think it's a simple signing and we go out and get him. Let's get into the other news. Guys, keep your comments coming in. Manchester United considering Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Shut up. Move on. There's more on that willingness from Ten Hag there. Ten Hag is expected to sign a new 2-year contract. United are looking at Suzuki again, the goalkeeper. Don't think that's going to happen either. There is that news regarding from Mike McGrath. You can see at the bottom of your page right now, the tweet at the bottom of the screen. Manchester United are sticking to their valuation of around $3 million for Dan Ashworth and are refusing to be held to ransom over Newcastle's compensation demands. Newcastle still want $15 million plus add-ons. Wow, man, like literally, we're not willing to spend this amount of money on players, never mind a director of football. I am confident that we are not ever going to get ripped off again. There's one good thing I can say out of what I've seen from Ineos so far. We are not getting ripped off. We can guarantee it, can't we? It's not going to happen. No, never, not going on. It's mental. It really is. Like 15 million to 3 million in difference between Newcastle and Manchester United over a director of football. Oh, God. I mean, does that fill you with confidence that we aren't going to get players? Sorry, that we're not going to get ripped off the players, or is it going to... Or is that sort of a negative in your eyes, guys, in terms of like Ineos are not willing to go that extra yard? We know that we need to get players in, and this summer of all summers, you could probably forgive Ineos for spending a little bit over the odds on certain players just to get them in for Ten Hag and that is moving again next season. Which way do you look at it? It's really interesting because that can be seen and looked at both ways, in my opinion. But again, like Ineos are brutal. They are absolutely brutal, and I'm not going to say the cheapskates. I mean, the guys got to be a multi-billionaire for a reason. This is just the start of the process for them and how they operate. So I think we've got a few more surprises to come. Honestly, guys, though, like I've said it before, I don't expect anything to move fast. I'm not worried about signings until after July 1st anyway. I think that's realistic, and just the way that the lay of the land right now with financial fair play. I don't think anyone's risking testing the wrath of the Premier League right now with what's going on with Manchester City and what happened last season with Everton and Nottingham Forest. So let's see out the rest of this month. Let's hopefully get the recruitment done behind the scenes and then go. But if you're looking at them reports about about Manchester United and the money that we've got to spend, the realistic amount that we've got to spend, then you can forget about your Branthwaites of this world. It's never going to happen. I tend to not agree with the story that we've only got 35 million to spend, though, more than anything. There's not a chance in hell. But if we sell them players, then we are all right. We will be all right. And then going into next summer, I think that'll be the bigger one. It will. There is no such thing as pay a bit over the odds for one season. You do it once and set the tone, then it will keep going. It will keep doing it. I'm glad they're setting their stall out like this. Me too, Louise. But like I said, you would sort of feel like they would have done it this summer if they were going to do it, I think. But Adam, did you see Ten Hag didn't want to give Ineos all the power? I did see that. I did. He has to hold some element of control within his squad. Which is why I don't believe that complete and utter bollocks story regarding Wilcox telling Ten Hag how to play football. I don't think there's a manager on the planet that would do that. I really don't. Although everyone's putting two and two together and the timescale when Wilcox came in, and that's when we started to see Ten Hag change a few things. And we all thought, and we were talking about it on this channel, that we thought that Ten Hag had seen the light and realised that he had to change things up. That's what we thought. So we'll see, won't we? We'll see how it goes with Ten Hag. Look, we just need to make sure that we're harder to beat. We don't relinquish so many chances, and we figure out the best way to play for our forwards. I still don't think that playing Bruno as a false nine is the way forward for us, though. God, please, no. Would the fans stand for cheap buys to get the finances back on track in 2 years? That's the real question. Financially, pain to get a great gain. Financial pain to get a greater gain. Short-term loss, long-term gain. This summer, not spend a lot. Not spend anything in January. Oh, God. Start to bring some money back in. Again, this could have been happening a while ago, but not to the extreme degree. But we went bullish. We thought, we're Man United. We can spend what we want. We got a big credit card with a big limit on it. And we went spending willy-nilly. Damn. Flash Talks, Jake was not on. He's still having technical problems, guys. God knows what's going on. No idea. Financial sound decisions doesn't necessarily mean bad signings. We have spent a fortune on terrible decisions in the past. This is it. Can we find some cheaper deals and good players? Can we be the club that Manchester United fans all are envious of, like other clubs in the Premier League, where they find these gems and they work out to be the real deal? Let's not forget, we have a lot of positives going on right now with the youth team coming through as well. Our best players cost us nothing this season in Garnacho and Kobbie Mainoo. So let's look at that and go, let's count our blessings that these two players came through Manchester United's academy. Because without them, where would we be this season? We would be bottom half of the table, I think. Honestly, I know it's that stupid saying, where would you be without them? It's stupid because you've got them. But honestly, if these two players did not come through from the academy, Garnacho and Mainoo, then, oh, God, we would be struggling drastically, wouldn't we? It would be an absolute shit show. It would. Any truth in the Maximilian Bier news? Who is that? Is that? It's not that German striker, is it, that you were talking about there? Just making sure. Going through the other news right now, guys. Give me 1 second. Let's make sure. Strikers, Manchester United are interested in. Defenders, Manchester United are interested in. Just get us down to that first signing so we know what this summer's going to be like. That's what we say. Leo President has confirmed Lenny Yoro and Jonathan David will be allowed to leave the club this summer. Both players have been linked with Manchester United. Yeah, that is an interesting one. So Lenny Yoro, I think, all earmarked with Nacho going from Real Madrid, or supposedly going, that he's going to Real Madrid. And Jonathan David is a player that I probably wouldn't mind at Manchester United. I know our Canadian friends like Tim, who's been on the show before, are big advocates of Jonathan David. He fits the mould. He's an absolute workhorse. He's a beast. He never stops running. That would suit the high press. And he likes to score a goal. He has improved every single season in the league. And so maybe that is, with 1 year left on his contract, an avenue for United to find that little sneaky buy. Like he's been scouted and been looked at by numerous clubs and not moved. He's always stuck. And now we're entering the last year of his deal. Looks like Lille will have to let him go if they want any money out of him anyway. So maybe that's one that we need to be looking at. There are a lot more coming from the academy this season, Adam. I don't think all of them are going to make it though, mate. Not this season. I'm not saying they're not going to make it, Emre, but let's not forget the age of these players. You can't just expect them to come in and hit the ground running. To find the Garnachos and Kobbie Mainoo's. And let's not forget, Kobbie Mainoo's had burnout, had poor games this season for United. And it's not fair to completely rely on them as like, this is the way forward. We're okay because we've got these players. They need their rest. They need looking after as well. And when they've got these 16, 17-year-old players coming through as well, and we're going to see them in pre-season, which is great. Honestly, it's not right that we actually do see these players being thrust into the limelight and then the expectation level being thrown on them. It's not fair on them, and I just don't think we're going to see that. I think realism will kick in and we will get what's expected more than anything, which is maybe one or two getting into the matchday squad, maybe one or two getting on off the bench in cup games and stuff like that. When you look at the squad that we've got and the players that are in the way, we have got a decent first team. It's not the best, don't get me wrong, we need improvement, but it's decent enough for us not to need under 18 players or under 21 players even. So, yeah, that's how I look at it. And hopefully they do get game time and we get more breakthroughs. I'm all for it. It would be absolutely brilliant. But I just think there is a limit, I feel. And I'm not going to go down the Alan Hansen road by saying you don't win anything with kids. But right now, Manchester United's team is not the team of the 90s where kids came through into an established side of experienced winning players. We're in a bit of a mess. And I always hold on to the fact that, you know what, I'd rather not see youth players come through right now while United are at the worst because it's unfair on them. I want to see them come through when everything's running well, when Ineos have got their foot well and truly under the table and we are seeing the structure work and we've got better players within the team. So how long that will take, though, I don't know. And then these players mature, so they may get thrust into the limelight. Well, I just feel like Ten Hag looking after Rasmus Højlund the way he did towards the back end of the season and changing things up the way that was. I feel like he's learned that he cannot keep playing the younger players. So yeah, let's see how he handles the younger players next season, Ten Hag. If Erik Ten Hag is so great, where are the offers from other clubs wanting him? There weren't any. That speaks volumes of how delusional people are about him. I think there was a couple of German clubs set up for him to go to, and that was all part of it. But hey, he's got one season really. Realistically, I think everyone knows, even the people that love Ten Hag and are absolutely buzzing with the decision that he's staying, they know that the pressure's on him this season and he needs to deliver. We need a very, very quiet injury season. We do. We just cannot afford to be losing certain players. Because you know what's going to happen. The excuses will come out again. I'm not just saying from Ten Hag, but I feel like it feeds down into the players as well. Like, everyone's missing, no one's expecting anything. We can just use this excuse again. Well, that has to stop. It's part and parcel of it. We have to find a way, even with a lot of injuries next season, how to get by and get back into that Champions League. That's the must in all of this. We need to do that. Guys, that pretty much covers absolutely everything. Legends, a lot of you. Thank you so much for all the super chats. Guys, please give the video a like. We're almost at 200. 15 likes just before we finish to get that number up to the 2 mark. Please, everybody. Absolutely epic. Like we said, we knew that this was going to divide opinion today. We knew that the shows that we were doing were going to split the fan base or split the live chats. It's not easy. It's not easy doing what we do. And we have opinions and we're there to be hit at. And we have been hit at. I have been personally hit at. I've had DMs and all sorts of abuse thrown at me for my opinions. But do you know what? There's a part of me that just understands it. Like, it's raw. This is what this football club means to people. And when someone doesn't agree with you, it riles something inside you that isn't there in normal life. Like, football winds me up more than anything. Like, honestly, I'm a calm person until I watch football. I can see it. I can understand it. The one thing that isn't right, though, is the abuse, personal abuse that certain people get. And that is below the belt. One thing I will never do is abuse people. And I think it's right that you respect that the other way, and with people in the chat as well. So I loved it. It's been epic. It's a difficult subject to talk about, but what we do know is that today has pretty much finalised the saga, which was Ten Hag. It's done. Let's move forward, and now we get behind United and what happens this season. I pray to God we get it right this summer. And for all of the news that we talked about in the show tonight, all of the stories and media garbage, I'm not having it. I don't believe all of it. And you know what? I think United will spend and will get the right players in this summer. Oh, God. I'm spinning pure positive right now just to finish the show because we want United to do well. We need to be back in that Champions League. Guys, 200 likes in the bag. Epic. Thank you all new members, super chats. You guys are all legends. I love you all. Even if you do slag me off, I do. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow. Sleep tight. Hopefully no late breaking news tonight, everyone. Thank you so much. Make sure you are subscribed if you are watching for the first time.